Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to change your strings. I'm going to show you how I do it, some tips I have, and also a little recommendation for a tool that I think makes things a whole lot easier. I'll leave a link in the description for this. This is the D'Addario Pro Winder. For anybody changing strings at home, I reckon it's the best tool to have. You can use a plier, but I feel like pliers sometimes scratch my guitars, and when you're using the winder, you can do stuff like this, which is loosen the strings really quickly. If I had to do this manually, my thumbs would just get sore. So once all the strings are loose, you can go ahead and just pull all the strings out of the nut like that. And then on the other side, on the bridge, the Pro Winder comes to the rescue. There's this little kind of hooky thing on one end of the Pro Winder that lets you pull the pegs out really easily. If I didn't have this, I would have to use the plier and some paper towel just to make sure that I'm not scratching my bridge as I'm doing this. So another reason why the Pro Winder is great, and you should definitely get it. Now you can just go ahead and pull out the strings on the other end as well. Now for each string individually, you can just go ahead and uncoil them. Just be careful because you can run the risk of poking your fingers if you're not careful. So just make sure you're doing it slowly and you're making sure that you're not getting poked. So my string of choice is the 12 to 53 light gauge phosphor bronze string. I might do another video on strings, but if you really don't know what strings to buy, I would recommend getting phosphor bronze. Phosphor bronze is just a really nice warm string that will work well for most guitars. Different companies will be different, but in this particular case, the pack will have a color guide on the back. So the color guide tells you which are the thick strings and which are the thin strings, so you don't get confused. So just make sure you take note of whatever system your string has. In my case, I'm going to start with the thickest strings here. So I'm just going to start putting the ball ends of the strings back into the bridge. So I've done 2 of those there. I'm going to do the next 2 right here. So again, like the first 2, I'm just going to put them in simply. Don't worry too much about how far they go. They just need to be sitting inside. Great. Once all 6 strings are back in, you want to put the pegs back in to secure them. So as you're putting the pegs back in, you want to pull up on the string simultaneously so that the windy bit next to the ball end starts showing itself a little bit. I don't know if you can see it from here, but basically you want to have the ball end touch the end of the peg inside the guitar. Now you just want to give the pegs a slight little push just to make sure they're seated correctly before you hit to the top of the neck again. Now what you want to do here is pull the string across the neck loosely and then give yourself like 1.5 inches of leeway so that you can loop around the tuning peg like this, and it'll give you enough margin to wind your string. Now that you've got the loop, you want to take the end of the string and put it through the peg on top of the loop so that it secures the string loop in place. Now once you've done that, take the windy bit of the Pro Winder again and wind it back up to tension. This can get a little finicky as you're winding it, but again, with the Pro Winder, it's so much easier. I promise you I'm not sponsored. I just think this is one of the cheapest and easiest ways to change your strings at home. So make sure you check it out. So once you start feeling that it's coming up to sort of tension, you can move on to the other strings. You don't have to be in tune right now. You just want to make sure it's sort of tight. With the rest of the strings, the process is the same. Give yourself 1.5 inches of leeway, make a loop, put the string through the tuning peg across the loop just to make sure it's secure, and then use the winder, or if your fingers, if you don't have the winder, and just tune it up to tension again. Now once you're done, your guitar will look something like this. Alright, grab a tuner on your phone, or you could use a pedal tuner or clip-on, and you want to sort of roughly get up to standard tuning. Your guitar's going to struggle to stay in tune for a little bit, and that's because strings take a while to get adjusted to the guitar that they've been put on. And so sometimes you actually need to pull up on the strings like that, and it looks really scary. It looks like you're going to break your new strings, but don't worry, they can take a little bit of abuse, and this actually helps it to start getting in tune. So after a few pulls, hopefully it stays in tune a little better. Now the final step is to use your Pro Winder once again, or any sort of sharp edged clippy thing, and you can start clipping off the access string that is on the top of the neck so that it looks kind of neat and nice. And so that you don't poke yourself as well in the eye. That would suck. And there you have it. That's how you change strings. Here's some quick comparisons between new strings and old strings. Hopefully you can tell the difference. I'm sorry it isn't a direct comparison of the same parts. I had to travel during the making of this video, so I kind of forgot what parts I played, but hopefully you can tell that the older strings are slightly duller, whereas the newer strings just have a more bright and sharp tone to them, which I like more personally. And even though the camera angle looks different, I'm trying my best here to make sure that the mics are in the same position when I record. So please trust me when I say that your guitar will sound really different when it has old strings versus when it has new strings. Strings also start feeling slightly different when they get older, and if you have like sweaty palms and stuff, your strings will get older faster, unfortunately. So I would change strings once they start to feel and sound different, but it's really up to you and your budget and how much you can afford to change strings. But that's all for now. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you want any other content, let me know, but otherwise, catch you later.